South Africa is facing one of the biggest crises of unemployment, and this affects young people. So when we talk to different people or when you read researches, you'll be told that the problem is skills. Shortage of skills. The Home Affairs will give you a report about the shortage of skills, and different sectors will give you a report about the shortage of skills. Hence, we see some people coming from other countries to come and work in South Africa. Today, I called Mr. Chabane, one of the senior managers at the TVET colleges, in his personal capacity to come and share his knowledge around skills. Exactly what is the problem? Is it the education system or is it the skills? And what kind of skills does the country needs? In conversation with Thabang Podcast, that is where you are. Welcome and good evening. Dr. Chabane, good evening and welcome, my brother.
Good evening, Tate Morovani, and also good evening to the viewers.
Dr. Chabane, we are being told about skill shortage in South Africa. Hence, we have so much unemployment and so many unemployed graduates. What is your take on that?
A very good question, Tate Morovani. First and foremost, the system itself in our country has got a problem.
Okay.
From the elementary education, which is primary, basic education to higher education and training, we are having a very serious challenge in that regard. Mainly because we need to review certain things. Number one, the policy, our policies.
Yes.
Because our policies are no longer, talking to what we are actually experiencing. Remember when the policies were developed, there was a vision.
Yes.
Which had a national development plan,
Yes.
Vision 2030.
Yes.
But now, because of something it's not right, we look at the recruitment in terms of the educators that are recruited at our basic education schools.
Okay.
We look at the curriculum itself. It also needs to be reviewed at some point. We look at the policies that gives the learners too many rights over the rights of the educators. So it becomes difficult to, to execute the implementation of what the curriculum that is set currently. Implementation, I think it's incorrect. And then there's no enough monitoring and evaluation, because of when you conduct a monitoring and evaluation, you compile a report, and then after you have compiled a report, you analyze where the gaps are. And where the gaps are, you come up with strategic, objectives or plan, how you are going to close those gaps. And when it comes to the issue of closing those gaps, we are having a challenge in terms of the finances to cover that. So it's a whole lot of things that boils down to the issue of funding. We don't have sufficient funding in our country.
So I want you to say three things. Like when there's a problem, we need to say, okay, number one, this is what we're going to do. Number two, this is what we're going to do. Number three, this is what because we cannot solve all the problems, but there are those key things that needs to be done. And would you please tell us, according to you and your knowledge and your researches, what is it that what are those three things that we need to do to ensure that we resolve these matters?
Number one, we need to look at the needs of the country.
Okay.
We align our curriculum with the needs of the country. Because the education that we are doing, it's too general. And the only time it makes sense, it's when the students venture into the TVET colleges.
Okay.
That's when they are able to see, if I can pursue this career, then I will be able to address these kind of issues. That's number one. Number two, our policies.
Okay.
And the policies, they need to be reviewed in terms of the revised curriculum. We also need to revise our curriculum, because of it does not talk to where we want to head on to. The issue of the implementation, it's like everybody is confused.
Okay.
We need to come up with a plan to say that this is how we are going to execute from this point to that point.
Yeah.
This is what needs to be done. This is how we should execute. And we pause. We reflect to see that is it giving us the correct results or the results that we are looking for. Those are the key three things that I can safely say that they need to be looked into as a country, and our government should consider that.
Let's look at, you've been to China, you've traveled the world. Would you say there's a model that they use, because China is progressing, and then with South Africa, do we have a model, or like you've just mentioned, we just doing things without necessarily having this model that will enable us to monitor and evaluate whether we are progressing or not?
Yes, a very brilliant question, Ntate Moroba. You know, China has got the same model as South Africa.
Really?
Because we remember that it's a democratic country, they are the communists, you know. The South Africans are also having that element, but the issue is the implementation. Ne? Remember that China, in everything that they are doing or they are embarking onto,
Yes.
the citizens of China, they come first. Because of, remember that this is where you are going to request or you expect a support from.
Okay.
So you cannot come up with a strategy without consulting the citizens of that specific country, and you expect to get the support from them. While you come up with an idea and you just execute, you must get a buy-in from them.
Okay.
Number two, in terms of positioning the officials, the leaders, we do not position our people in most departments or most units, people according to their specialities. Okay. We don't have specialists. There's this thing that is called a political appointment. Yes, you can be appointed, but unfortunately, the problem comes when you are unable to recruit people who are going to do the job that you are supposed to be conducting to solve the problem of the country. So we are having that kind of a challenge to say that each and every person can be placed in a specific position under cadre deployment. At the end of the day, that person is unable to deliver. So it becomes detrimental to our economy at some point. But when you look at China, if they are about to address a specific issue, let's say it's in construction,
Yes.
they are looking for a specific person who has specialized or who is specializing in that fraternity to come and address the issue or the problem that they are facing. And then for them to be able to win that battle, it took China something like 40 years to build their economy, skills development, all those, agricultural sector and all those things. That is why their economy is so stable, and they believe in their products. They don't depend to any other countries as such. They are only depending a specific percentage in terms of the goods that are imported from other countries. But most of the things they do them by themselves. Like you look at agriculture, it's the one that is building their economy. Digital and technology, it just supplement the agri. It's just that they don't have sufficient land. And I don't know, the issue of the climate, they are unable to breed the livestock the way we are breeding the livestock because of the climate. That is why the only thing that is expensive that side, it's the meat. But food, it's plenty there. Yeah, no, definitely. They have each and every second shop they are selling, or it's a restaurant.
Okay.
And when it comes to South Africa, each and every second block, you get a pub, a shebeen, a bottle store.
Oh.
So there's a difference between us and them when it comes to that. And then the third part is that we believe that we have to enrich ourselves before we can think about other people. So according to them, they want to make sure that their people are settled, they are certain, they are okay, you understand, in terms of living. They equip their youth in terms of skills development from the elementary to the higher learning or higher education and training. With us, it's a problem because if you have a child who cannot complete the last grade of their elementary education, which is our basic education, you are going to be charged, you are going to jail.
Like we've introduced with the Bella Act.
Yes.
Something similar to that.
Something similar to that, because they want to know, why are you not sending your kid to the school? Because of the education is funded. Yeah. Unlike us, whether wire or high, it doesn't matter. You understand? It's a business as usual. And then they ensure that they build the skills from an early age of those learners. If you can look at their practicals, now we are there to label, or we used to label 𝐂𝐍𝐈𝐒𝐍 in biology. You understand? The locust and the wings. You understand? Bale, they do the simulation of what is actually happening. If there's a car that needs to be, they are taught about that. If there's a part of hospitality, they cook, somebody supervising them. They do the real things in small scale. When they go up in higher grades, that's when you'll see that actually these people are just about to address their issues. With us, we're still a bit far from achieving that. Because of the skills development, it's not as effective as in other countries. It's not drilled. I'll tell you why. Somebody's a lawyer, but during the weekends, or if he has enough
work,
time,
he does
something, a skill work, plumbing, electrical work, and the likes. Unlike us. Now we believe that after work we have to go and indulge somewhere.
And chill.
You understand what I'm saying? So there's a difference between us and them, and we still have a long way to go. But like I say, that they need to be planted. It's a seed that needs to be planted from an early age in our basic education.
In conversation with Thabang, we are here with Mr Chabane, one of the senior managers from the TVET colleges, and we're trying to deal with the crisis of unemployment, because we are being told that we've got shortage of skills. But now the question is, what is it that we are doing to address that? Should we change our education system? Because I'm always frustrated that we're having minds and hear about the zamazamas and you ask yourself, why are these people there? Is there something that is happening there? But why the curriculum doesn't have, issues around mining and farming and all of that, so that, like he said, we can address the skills challenge that we have in South Africa. We'll be back shortly and talking more about these issues and also the issues around the TVET colleges and the kind of skills that they can offer to address economic challenges of South Africa. We'll be back shortly. In conversation with Thabang, every Monday, 19 hours, FS Online Network and YouTube channel, that's where you will find us. And Dr. Chabane, I also want us to touch on the issue of where you find a young woman went to TVET and they do courses around engineering or artisanship, but they struggle to get jobs because they are being told quite a lot of things. Is there anything that can be done to address that? That a woman applies for engineering somewhere and we are told that you are a woman, you can't carry heavy loads, you can't do this and that. That kind of mentality, how do we address it?
Ntate Moroban, we are trying to break through the even, you understand, with regard to the high rate of unemployment, especially when it comes to the ladies who have studied engineering, or in the field of engineering, there are certain companies within the industries who are still finding it difficult, to employ or to give the ladies or female students an opportunity to come and do their practicals. Mainly because of their argument was to say that they are unable to perform optimally, you understand, as they are expected. Like for an example, somebody will be given a task to carry something that has got a heavy load. And they will start complaining about their complications, to say that no, this thing is going to damage myself, me on 1, 2, 3, or it's going to cause a problem, blah blah blah, like the physical problems. So up until the previous minister said, you know what, let's start to give them an opportunity.
Okay.
Although when they do that, they are doing that in a small scale. You understand? But it's getting there day by day, because Department of Higher Education and Training has partnered with so many industries. So, like I'm saying, that they are getting a recognition, although it's not in a fast speed. You understand? It's moving there with a snail pace, but it's getting there. So it's all those challenges, it's all those wrong beliefs, and remember that our constitution says that everybody has a right, you understand? So we cannot be biased, you cannot discriminate.
Dr. Chabane, let's talk about TVET colleges and how they were presented, because I think our kids, when they are in grade 11 and grade 12, they would opt for university and all of that, and the TVET were seen as this thing, overall, I won't be any money. That perception, how do we deal with it?
Okay, it starts with the basic education.
Okay.
You and I, when we were still in the basic education, during, the career guidance, we were told that you have to wear a tie
and make money, yes.
To be, somebody who is respected within the community. Yes. Little did you know that you can earn a living with skills development. I'll tell you why. Remember that teachers, some teachers used to have this mentality of living their lives through you. Okay. You understand? Because he or she did not achieve a certain thing. He wants or she would want you to follow or to pursue a certain a field of work, you understand? And they start giving you the wrong advices to say that if you are going to the TVET college, you are going to earn a little salary, you are going to work in the construction, and that is actually what the country it's looking for. Now, the TVET, when it was introduced to address the challenges that the country is having in terms of skills development. Hence, you see that other countries or other provinces are having the artisan or skill centers because they are meant for those specific issues to develop the artisans. Remember that National Development Plan, even if you can look at white paper, NDP 2030 vision, it says that by 2030, the country should have developed something like 30,000 artisans. Yes. So that is why the TVET, it's a gateway for employment. Because you go to the university nowadays, not to say that the university are irrelevant now, they are still relevant. You go to the university, you study human resource. Yes. How many human resource students or graduates are we producing per year? But we don't have the skills work or skills workers. We don't have artisans. We need to fill up that space because there's still a void in that space. So if we can produce at least per year 12,000 or 8,000 in 5 years to come, artisans, at least we would have been somewhere as a country. In all in all units of engineering and construction, we don't have enough, the carpenters, we don't have enough electricians. We are still experiencing the issue of load shedding.
Yes.
We need people who come up with alternative measures to address such. We're still struggling to get to that because of it's a problem. We are struggling as a country. Yeah.
Tell me about National Development Plan. How far are we from reaching some of the... I read it, yes, but I said to myself, hey, this one is a journey, man. Yeah, 2030, it's just 5 years from now.
We are still a bit far because of now, the beginning of this year. Actually, starting from last year, there was a mandate from the Department of Higher Education and Training to the colleges that they must start phasing out the nated courses.
Okay.
And then start introducing the occupational programs through QCTO. Because many industries were saying that, yes, you are producing the so-called engineers, but they don't address the issues, or they don't meet our standards. You understand? So we have to implement the occupational programs, which is going to be the theoretical part, a certain percentage of theoretical part, another certain percentage it's going to be the practical part. Because the problem was, you develop a student from N1 up to, let's say, N6. They go to the industries, and when they get to the industries, they still have to be taken to the practical work.
Yes.
And now it becomes costly for the industries or for the companies, you understand? So they want people who are ready to work. If you give this person a spanner to say that you are employed by a vehicle company, he's able to do what the mechanics will be doing. Yes. Injectors and the likes. So those courses studied were the old curriculum. So they have introduced new programs which are talking to the new trends of what is actually happening within the industries.
Yes. Dr. Chabane, in conversation with Thabang, we're taking people from crisis to control. I want to bring it back to you personally. A person who started as a taxi assistant. Where did you fall in love with education? Because what we're doing in this podcast is to show people possibilities. There are people who've went through situations and they find themselves, when they say people is dead alive or paralyzed by the situation. But through people like yourself, we want to show people that, yes, we do go through challenges, but it depends on you what you do. So with yourself, taxi assistant.
I never thought I actually wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
But I was not sure I'll be able to pull through eventually.
Okay.
I had challenges that led me to become a taxi assistant driver.
Yes.
You understand? Because I used to read the newspaper in the morning, which was Sowetan at that time. It was popular before another newspapers were brought. I met a lady while we were still waiting for the passengers to fill up the taxi so that we can deliver them. Reading the newspaper, and that old woman, she just came to me and said, "You always read a newspaper."
Yes.
If you read a newspaper, it means you have a capability. I see the teacher in you.
Hey,
and then I laughed, and then she just gave me an envelope to say that it was a Tuesday. I remember vividly well when she gave me that newspaper, that envelope. She said to me, "Make use of it.
Hey,
if you're not going to make use of it, I'm going to take it on Friday."
Okay.
And then I just said, this old woman who said I want to go to school, and then I put it there. And then when 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 we dropped her off, she asked me, "Do you have a matric?" I said, "Yes, I have a matric." She said, "Okay, make use of that envelope. You are a teacher."
So every day when she's coming,
No.
just once.
It just happened. It was a mystery. The following day, which was Wednesday, I went to the University of the Free State because it was one of our routes where we drop off other people who were working in the university, at the university, others nearby, you understand. So we drop them off there. And then I requested the person who was driving a taxi that I was assisting at that time to say, "Man, I just read some few things here and the information on the prospectus," you understand. And the prospectus, what caught my eye was the course of psychology. And then I went to the Faculty of Psychology. I met the two ladies, the white ladies. They were excited to see me.
Yes.
They assisted me to fill in the forms. They gave me the information. Then I said to them, "I don't have money, man, to register." They said, "No, don't worry. We'll take you to the bursary office."
Yes.
When I got there, I found a gentleman who was talking to the bursary officer. And then he was coming from one of the cereal companies. He said that, and then I overheard when he said that, "Just give me 100 students, man. Because the company is complaining that we are not plowing back to the community.
To the community, yes.
So if I can have," and the bursary officer said, "How am I going to do that? Because we register many students here." He said that, "No, you can take them randomly and give it to me." I said, No. That's not how we work. You need to assist the student who are needy student in terms of finances. You understand? And then I just followed the gentleman after their conversations to say, "Hey man, I am here to seek funding, so can you help?" Fast forward, he said, "No, come to my office and then I'll assist you." I went to his office, he gave me $50 and said, "Go and open the account now and come back." I went to one of the banks and I opened the account, and then I came back, gave him all the necessary details. And then he said, "Okay, I'm going to forward everything to the head office and then you'll hear from us." Moving fast forward, later that year, I think it was around towards the end of November, the beginning of December, he called me, said, "Did you go to the bank?" I said, "No." He said, "You must go there ASAP and come to my office after you went there." I went to the bank and then I got something like 13,000 point something.
Oh.
And it was a lot of money at that time.
Yeah, it was a lot of money.
Because at least our economy was a little bit stable in terms of the currency, And then he called me because we were using, the cell phone. Yeah, the type of cell phone that we were using. We did not have notification, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
And then he immediately called me after I went to the bank just to check the bank balance. He called me, "Did you see how much you have?" I was skeptical to tell him because I was not sure why he was asking me. And then he said, "Come to my office." And I thought he's going to demand 50% of that. He said, "No, you must come now." And then I went to his office. He said, "That money, it's not for registration, it's just to get started for next year, you understand? Buy some basic things, your toiletries and other things that you are going to need." When after I met him, the following day, which was the following week, and then I met the lady. He said, "Did you make use of my envelope?"
That envelope late.
Yeah, I said, "No, I made use of it, and I think I'm going to get a bazaar." He said, "The only time that you'll see me, it's when you graduate."
Yeah. Mashima, let's come to that painful moment in your life where you have to go to school and Mama was sick.
Yeah, it was a journey, and when other door was opening, the other one was closing. The following year, I started attending. Remember now I'm attending. February, I'm attending. I don't know anybody there. I see myself inside, amongst the white people. The only people who were there were people who were coming from Lesotho. There was 6 of them, and then they just approached me to say, hey, you are one of us.
Yeah.
So, you know what is going to happen? We are going to take the first year as well as the second year modules.
Yes.
And then we'll have to push. When I counted the number of the modules, it was something like 22 modules.
Sure.
And I asked myself, am I going to make it? Remember, I'm coming from a punch of repeating a metric.
Okay.
So I was not sure that I'll be able to.
The confidence I move.
No, it's not there. It's not there at all. And I said, okay, let's do it. And they committed to say that we'll help you. We'll find the previous question papers, we'll have studies, and we'll make sure that whenever we are going to have a study group, you'll be part of us. Believe you me, they used to do that. Sometimes they will call me in the morning at 8 o'clock Saturday, when I was trying to say, today I just want to take it easy, and to say that, no, we are having a group discussion at 10 o'clock. The nice part about the institution was to say that when you pass above 65%, you don't have to sit for the examinations. So you understand what I'm saying. Now, it was tough because I had a sickly mother that I have to take care of before I go to the university, to ensure that I assist her in terms of bathing, to provide her with food, you understand. And while I'm attending, psychologically it affects me to say that, how is she doing? How is she coping? Remember, there's no one. It's only my dad who will be there from a certain time of period, and then he will be leaving for something else, you understand? And then I pushed, at least I managed to pass my modules for first year, second year, year 1. The second year, the health condition was deteriorating. And then I said, let me just push up until June, which was my 3rd year, but I'm in 2nd year.
Yes.
Ne? And then I had to push up until June, and then I said to her, you know what, ma'am? Because I can see that now it's getting worse. And then she said to me, you know what? There's no longer a human in me. I'm just breathing, and then I'm waiting for the right time. So I'm not going to deprive you that opportunity to, to explore, to achieve what you deserve. You still have a future ahead, a good future, a bright future ahead of you. So I'll support where I can while I'm sitting here. And then I said to her, promise me one thing, that you'll be here up until I graduate. And then she said, no, definitely.
I will be there.
I'll be there. Actually, I'm going to bury you first.
You understand?
Yes. So it somehow, boosted my confidence to say that, at least she will be here when I graduated. Unfortunately, when I was doing my 4th year, which was my practicals, because remember that I completed my course in 3 years' time, in a record time. So in the 4th year, I had to do only the practicals. I had to register the practicals for teaching. And then on the 7th of May, she passed on. And then I was graduating the following year. Taba, that is why it's so difficult for me to pursue a course. And then I was telling my kids this year to say that this is my last course. I'll be graduating sometime in March. Because I want them to see what graduation is. You understand? They must understand when I talk about graduation, what I am talking about. So I did it for them, not for me. So I said, I will never ever be able to pursue my studies. And then when I graduated, unfortunately she was not there. It was only my dad and my aunt, as well as my uncle. They are the ones who accompanied me. You see, when you are sitting there and somebody's name it's been called, and then people will be, jumping, whistling, and then, all those things. And then with me, it was silent. And then when I look at them, it was only 3 people who are standing up. And then
that person who made a promise is not there.
It's not there. And then, Bunyani, I was expecting that old woman to be there to say, hey, Unfortunately, when I analyzed this thing, I said, actually, this woman was saying, when you complete,
that envelope lady.
yes. That is my analogy, you understand?
That position ya mama ke tla e occupy.
And then later that year, a previous year, December, before my graduation, I got a job. I was lecturing actually that year in my 4th year, part-time, at TVET College as a part-time lecturer in the engineering studies. And then later that year, I was recruited by 𝐂𝐐𝐃 Comprehensive School. I never set for work. You understand?
Work was always available.
It was always available. And then through Ntate Dimpani, or the late Ntate Dimpani, may his soul rest in peace, because he was my mentor when I was doing my practicals. He was teaching woodworking as well as civil technology. And then he said, you are going to take over when I leave. When you understand. And then fast forward 2010, I was also recruited at Central University of Technology as a part-time lecturer. I lectured there. And then 2012, I had to leave the system, basic education. Now I ventured into higher education and training as a student liaison officer. 2013, I was put in the office of student support or affairs manager. I manage student affairs at Goldfields TVET College. 2018, I left. I got a promotional post at Orbit TVET College, where I served as a skills and occupational program development HOD. And then I was responsible for the occupational programs, skills programs, and artisans, to assist and to place the artisans. I'd go to Nexa, I'd go to the mines, to go and place them. And then because I have a family here, some of the decisions you have to think and to make calculated moves.
I remember you were staying in Welcome.
Yes.
You only come here, and at some point you got involved in an accident.
3 accidents.
3 accidents?
The first one I overturned with my car. I survived. The second one, after I bought another car, there was a truck that bumped into me on the side. The third one, I was bumped from the back when I was, stopping at the circle. So those were the challenges.
So those traumas were there. But in closing, how did you survive all these things?
You must have faith. You must believe. And if it's not the right time for you to... I want to believe that God has a purpose with me. And in everything that I do, and everywhere I go, there's this thing that I want to make use of Him. Let me tell you, when I come to the region, what happened.
Yes.
Because I'm working at the regional office for Department of Higher Education and Training. My colleagues are older people. They are facing out. 5 years down the line, none of them will be there. Rest assured, I'll be alone.
Yes.
Unless if they appoint, they bring other people into the office.
Yes.
The regional manager at that time, because when I came back, remember when I left Northwest, I came here with a transfer. And then I was placed in the office of CET, which was normally known as ABET.
Okay.
And then the regional manager at that time said, you know what, I want you to be responsible for student affairs. Because we are developing student support services in the office of ABET. So you need to coordinate that from the regional office and talk to the centers and then train them about student affairs, what the programs that needs to be implemented. And then I did that. Not so long ago, she said, no, come to the TVET directorate. The TVET directorate, it's the one that deals with the TVET colleges, you understand, and the private colleges. She said that I want you to be responsible for that, and then you are going to do monitoring and evaluation, you are going to do curriculum and assessment, you are also going to do student affairs. It's a whole lot of things which demands a lot of time and a lot of energy, you understand. And then when she left, I said, hey, I told the acting director from the region of Gauteng and Free State to say that, no, man, I think I'll have to come back because the regional manager has left. The one who came in, he said, no, you stay there.
Yeah.
You stay there. And then there was a memo to say that we want officials for age of this age to that age to go to China. He sent it to me and said, you must respond ASAP. You are the youngest. Ari. That's year one. And then the second year, he also said that to say that, no, I don't have to tell you. You must just fill in the forms. I just need to read and sign. Yes. And you must go. Come with the report. Come and implement. That's all we need. So there's no time where I'll be saying I'm idling or I'm sitting in the office not doing anything.
Yes.
I'm always doing something. The sad part with our country is that you have these skills, you have these knowledges, or this knowledge. Even the schools around here, they can't make use of you. Unless you come on TV and you are well known or you are commonly known, that is when they will start calling you, where are you? Because they want to build their profile.
Yeah.
There's only one school who made use of me when I came back from Northwest to say that we want you to assist us in terms of the study skills. Go and assist our grade 12s. Our
grade 12s, yes.
And then career guidance, give them, the information that is required as we prepare them for another phase of life. You understand? After they have phased out from or they matriculated, we want them to be ready. It's only Comtech.
Oh.
You understand? And you go to these schools, it's not like I don't have colleagues in other basic schools or high schools. I have many colleagues, and I always tell them, make use of me. Money is not a factor, but the knowledge.
You want to impart to this.
You understand? I want to disseminate the information so that they can make use of it. And then the problem is that after they matriculated, they don't know what to do.
What to do.
They don't know where to go.
They register for CUT after a year.
No, not even a year. Last week I was having a presentation in one of the churches, you understand?
Yes.
And then on leadership skills,
yes.
Another lady came to me to say that, my daughter has just registered and then she just want to drop out. She just want to leave the course and start another one. I said it is because of they are eager to complete without any knowledge, any information. But I don't blame her. She just needs somebody who can come and motivate her just to show her the possibilities around that. So that is where we are having a problem. Many people who have the capacity and the muscle are unable to make use of us, people who are having the knowledge and the information.
Sure. My executive producer, Mebanyana Botle, we must have another session with Mr Chabane where we are going to talk about skills and student issues, because there's this NS fasting, there's a lot that is happening. Every year you see students coming, asking for help. So I think Dr. Chabane will be able to talk to these issues. But Dr. Chabane, thank you very much for coming, and definitely my executive producer will reach out at the team so that we can have another session where we deal with these student issues, and we also go a bit to the high schools, because I think you spoke about planting a seed at the primary level, and maybe we must talk about maybe the strategy or the model that needs to be used to can say, this is how we trace a child from primary to high school to secondary education. Because there was a debate that, no, we are celebrating that kids are passing in South Africa, but a lot of kids along the way, they are missing in the system. So we need to talk about that and see, as a society, as government and as private sector, what is it that we need to do to ensure that we group our kids to the right direction?
No, I really appreciate that, because there are, many things that are happening and that were substantiating or were substantive when it comes to child development.
Yes.
Remember, you were playing soccer, singing in the choir, doing this and that. Where are those things? They are there, but in a small scale.
In a small scale, yeah.
So art and culture, co-curricular programs are no longer being given a recognition. If you assign a teacher to say that go to the field and spend your afternoon with they ask you, are you going to give me an extra money to do that?
In conversation with Thabang, and thank you, Dr. Chabane, we still have a long way to go. Till we meet again next time, good evening.